Good evening and welcome to day 16 of 25 days raising awareness of mental health. Talking today about gratitude, looking at the positive steps that we can take to make life feel a little bit more bearable, a little bit more positive. And when I first got introduced to the sort of personal development world, this was sort of bandied around quite a lot, the attitude of gratitude. And the idea was that you find things to be grateful for. And sometimes that's quite difficult, okay? And I'm not saying, being grateful for your house, being grateful for your car. There's a whole fundamental level of stuff that we have that is so much more basic living for us. Hi, Jazz. But it's not actually about things like that. How about more fundamental, basic things? Sometimes it's a challenge. Thank you for this day. Okay, whole pile of stuff there. Thank you for this day. Thank you for making it this day. Yeah, some people didn't make it. Okay. Thank you for the air that I breathe. Thank you for the weather. Thank you for the clothes that I wear. Thank you for the food that I can have. Thank you for the running water. Thank you for the electricity that I can have. And that might sound a little bit false, a little bit disingenuous, but if you look at the majority of the world, we are in the most privileged, I think it's about 20%, 20% of the world. 50% of the world do not have one hot meal a day. Some people only have one meal a day, and it's not hot, it's not food, it's just whatever they can get hold of. 75% of the world do not have running water, fresh running water. They have to go and collect it. Majority of people don't have electricity tapped to their homes. They don't have shoes. Many of the world's population are barefoot. Okay. Clothes become a rarity. They only get clothes when the next person passes them down, etc. So, yes, we can think that our lives are quite challenging at times, but putting it into context, and I know there's a sort of a wave there of thinking, oh well, trying to get people to look at there's always somebody worse off than you. Yes, there probably is. There's also lots of people probably better off than you at times. But again, that's perspective. We all probably, if you've not seen social media or the press in the last 10 years, you won't be aware of all of those famous gifted millionaires, either through TV, films, etc., that were desperately unhappy. They had everything that we think that we want from that, everything that we look at and say, oh, haven't they got a wonderful house? Haven't they got a fantastic car? Look at their lifestyle. Look at the men, women, their partners. Look at their clothes. Look at the jewelry they've got. Look at the things they're doing, etc. And they are desperately unhappy people. Okay, that's not saying that everybody who's got lots of money is desperately unhappy. However, the pursuit of material worth comes at a price. Okay, what I'm talking about is cultivating that attitude of gratitude, that whatever you have is whatever you have, and being grateful for that starts a process of looking at your life in a different way. So wherever you are is wherever you are. That's it. You can move. Like I say, we spoke before. Wherever you are in life is where you want to be, because you're not a tree. You can move. You can make changes. You can start to progress. Okay. So if you're not happy where you are, then do something about it. But by having an attitude of gratitude, of being grateful for what you do have, you're going to be looking at things as more positive. Okay. And if that's not a lot, then just be grateful for what you have. Okay? Everybody has something that they can be grateful for. Everybody. And even those people out there that have got tragedy in their life, that have got things that have gone on recently, very upsetting, losing people, being a situation. But that's okay, because that is part of the life. But we still have that attitude of gratitude, of being grateful for maybe having the time that we've had with people, maybe having the opportunity we've had with some people before they leave us. We still have our health, we still have our faculty, we still have our stuff, okay, that we can be grateful for. Okay, so again, it's about focus. Okay, and I'm not saying if you've got things going on in your life, then you shouldn't focus on them, but you should spend some time focusing on the positive stuff that you do have in your life to create balance. Okay, it's all about balance. You know, we accept that life can be challenging, life can be really rough at times, and it can deal you a poor hand, but it is still dealing you a hand. Okay, and as the balance shifts, at some point it always swings back the opposite way. So even the richest people in the world, I mentioned Andy Shaw, The Bug-Free Mind, wrote his book, and the trigger for that was him losing his fortune, his multi-million-pound fortune of being a property investor, not being able to control his negative thoughts and having to then reinvent himself and spend time controlling the thought processes, because he was spiraling down, because he was focusing on the negatives, focusing on what he didn't have, focusing on the loss. Okay, and one of the things that he did was create a process of looking at the things, and maybe now is not a great time for you, but there's been times in your life where you've had that moment that you feel that time stands still because everything is perfect, everything feels wonderful. So by cultivating this attitude of gratitude, what we can do is create, as part of our daily exercises. So we've got a few daily exercises now, haven't we? We know we've got our maybe our book that we've got with our goals in there. We've got some time that we've put aside so that we can spend time with ourselves, focusing on our stillness, focusing on positive thought processes in our mind. That part of that time can now be, maybe, particularly if we are having a rough time, is creating a little video in our mind of some positive thoughts, positive times. And I'll give you an example here. So when I finally passed out from the Marines, I ended up breaking my collarbone in training and ended up getting back trooped, as they said. So I couldn't finish my training with my original troop. So I ended up breaking my collarbone. I had to go into Hunter Troop, which was the remedial troop. And then at that time, it was a really long time frame between troops, something like 6 months, because, you know, recruitment was low, etc. And they said, well, you know, we need to get you into mainstream. So what I did, I ended up passing out with an RMR unit. An RMR unit was there. So I did all my commando tests, etc. with them. So the process was very similar to the King Squad, which is the normal process. And, you know, I got handed my green beret, which is the symbol that means that, you know, that you've passed out, etc. And I remember being told to stand at ease, of being handed the beret to me, putting it on, my corporal coming in front of me, making sure it was incorrect, taking my other blue beret off me, feeling that immense feeling of pride and satisfaction of achieving something. And waiting for the inspecting officer, who was the brigadier at the time, going all the way around to the front, yeah. And then the command was, Royal Marines, to your duties, quick march. And then marching off. And that was a very, very immensely proud, wonderful, meant a lot to me. A lot of deep emotion to it. So when I was working through some really hard stuff, gnarly, gritty stuff in my past, and having to focus on some of this negative times, one of the things I was doing was creating positive thought images. And one of the things that I did was I relived that moment. And I started to practice reliving that moment, the gratitude the feeling of feeling grateful for being able to achieve this thing, the process of that positiveness, and as part of that, reliving that moment and creating that positive loop of emotion around that, being grateful for the opportunity to represent my country in that way. So there's going to be some point, yeah, in your life when you were lost in the moment. Yeah, I want you to find that moment. I want you to, as well as feeling grateful for what you have now, I want you to then search your past and find something. And there will be something, the birth of the child. Yeah. And, you know, that birth moment will never leave you. You know, seeing your child for the first time, if it was, you know, you going in to see your first child, etc. Getting married, whatever it is, whatever that moment is, that time, that frame, and focusing on having those times in your life where you have been lost to the moment, the feeling that everything is perfect, everything is lined up, etc. Because that creates that feeling and emotion inside you. And that's what we want to focus on. We want to focus on that moment, that feeling of being connected, of time standing still, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for our place in this world so that we can then create that moment, that now. We're focused on the now. Yeah, that feeling that we are a part and parcel. We're grateful for our part in this world. We're grateful for where we are. We're grateful for everything that we have. We're grateful, even if things aren't great now, for the things that have happened to us in the past and created this positive feedback loop of love. Yeah? So feeling of love from somebody else, feeling love to something else. Whatever that is, okay? Creating that strong emotion. And it starts with feeling gratitude for those things, the attitude of gratitude, saying thank you. And here's a challenge for you. So a couple of challenges from today's talk, and I'll add some stuff in later, but I'll give you the challenges now. So the first challenge: next time somebody gives you a compliment or says something nice to you, I want you to be able to say the word thank you. Okay? Because 9 times out of 10, what do we say? Oh, well, you know, it doesn't, well, it's not really exactly. We play it down. Somebody pays us a compliment. Somebody says we look nice. Somebody says, I like your shirt. You look healthy. You look well, you know, you look happy, whatever. I want you to just go back and say, thank you. Yeah? And I enjoy that moment. Okay? Get into the habit of saying thank you. Okay? So that's the first challenge, okay? So think about that. So, and I hope you're taking notes because, you know, scribbling away. Afternoon, Neil. I can see there, I've got a few people that have tapped in there. Hi, Daryl. Yeah, I'm just scrolling up. Okay, so the second challenge, okay? I want you to create a list of things that you can be grateful for. And they can be as basic as you like, and it can be as long as you like, but start with the basics of life. Okay? Thank you for the air that I breathe. Thank you for the water that I drink. Thank you for the food that I eat. Thank you for the clothes that I wear. Thank you for the home that I live in. Thank you for the bed that I sleep in. Thank you for the shoes that protect my feet from the ground. Thank you for the people that surround themselves with me. Thank you to my parents for giving me life. Thank you to the partner that loves me. Thank you to the friends that think of me. Thank you for all the people that have loved me. I love them. Okay? So there's a whole list of that. Don't cut it short. Just think of loads of stuff. Get writing. Okay? And if we've managed to get a list of that stuff, I want you to add that to your daily practice. I want you to start to go through and thank the universe. I want you to thank whoever you think is the higher purpose. Thank yourself, whatever. Have some gratitude for the things that are happening to you. Have some gratitude for the things that happened in the past, maybe. if you can't hold on to something at the moment. But there's going to be something that you can be grateful for. Okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay? So practice that word. Thank you. Okay? Somebody says something to you. Thank you. Somebody gives you something. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay? And practice that. And then the second part is, can we focus our energies, particularly if we're having some of the struggles with what's happening at the moment? Can we focus on something from the past where we can delve into the time where things were really working well, or things were really positive, or some memories that when you think about something, it just gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling inside? Okay? Can we focus on that feeling? And if we can focus on that feeling, can we be in that feeling? Can we live our time for a few moments, a few minutes, extend it, 5-10 minutes maybe, of reliving that moment, of reliving those feelings, giving us that positive feeling, okay? So that we can then start to generate that positive feedback of quality things in our life. So those are the challenges for us today. Gratitude. Say thank you when somebody gives you something or a compliment. Create a gratitude list of things that you are grateful for in your life, things that have happened to you, or things that you just have. And can we then create focus on something to give us that warm, fuzzy feeling from the past if we're having a hard time at the moment? And even if we're not, combating some of that negative thought processes, particularly way back at the beginning there, where I think it was day 2, where we were talking about the voice that goes on in our head, the voice that talks to us. Is it our cheerleader? Do we have a cheerleader, or do we have a negative ninny? Do we have somebody putting us down, saying that we can't do it, or do we have somebody that's building us up? So to combat that voice, maybe to get some control, we can go into this time in the past and create that mind loop of positive stuff in our brain that shuts out that negative ninny for a while. Okay, start to gain some control over it. So we're well into the last 10 days of our 25. Now, I've got a few ideas about stuff we need to cover. Okay, but I want to put something to you that it's up to you. Okay. The last 3 or 4 days of the 25 days. So after 21 days, I'm going to start to turn it over to you. I want some subjects that we want to address, whether it's about mental health, whether it's about well-being, as long as it's within that sort of remit, about creating positivity, or looking at situations where life does hand us lemons. Then, how can we make lemonade out of lemons? So it's about maybe looking at situations where we've had negative emotions, negative feelings, etc. Maybe some sort of mental health condition that we then need to address. What some of the other things that people see as barriers in today's society, maybe. So start thinking about it. So from day 21 onwards, we've got a few more days yet. So day 21, maybe, I think it's maybe next weekend we'll start day 21. I want to be looking at what you want to talk about. Okay, so start sending me some ideas, either on the message feed, and also if you want to remain anonymous, send me a PM about anything there that you want to raise. And enjoy your Sunday. Stay safe, be nice, be kind.